Good afternoon, everybody. Can you all see me and hear me okay? Do the important stuff first, get that out of the way. Do a few hellos. Hi, Karen. You were early, and you, Kathy. Hi, Connie. Okay, no worries, lovely. Hi, Hazel. Hi, Jean. Hi, Margaret. Hi, Donna. Hi, Sandy. Did you ever look at that video that Claire pointed you to, Sandy? Or do you still want me to do the tetra for you? Just as I know. Hi, Susan. Thank you. Thank you, Donna. Hello, Joanne. Great. Lovely. I love it when a plan comes together. Hi, Val. Hi, Elizabeth. Hi, Janet. Good morning, Buttons Fair. Now, let me is it Sharon? You have to remind me. Hi, Deborah. Hi, Erica. Hi, Sharon. Hi, Paige. That's greedy, Sandy. Okay, I'll look at it in the next couple of weeks for you. Hi, Evelyn. Nice and relaxing hour. I'm not sure it'll be an hour today. I know I did go a bit sort of over the hour on Monday, but that's because I was going through that lining up for the what was it? Heart of Roses? Can't remember now. Yeah, no. Floral Heart, that was it. Light you off, Sandy. Hi, Lorraine. Oh, Lorraine, are you back on YouTube? Oh, no. Yeah, back on YouTube, hopefully. Hi, Patricia. Hi, Lorraine. Hi, Susan. Hi, Caroline. Hi, Julie. Hi, Sue. Hi, Jan. How are we all? It's a bit nothing weather-wise, isn't it, out there today? I tell you what, it was cold yesterday. Went and did a bit of shopping yesterday. I was frozen. My little fingers were just absolutely frozen. No, Margaret, no pen and paper today. No measurements today. It's a quite straightforward. I won't say ordinary, but quite straightforward. Waiting for the tech team. You'll have to invite him over and give him food, Lorraine. I'm sure he'll rush over to your aid then. I'm presuming you mean your son. Right, shall we make a start? Cool, 4 degrees. Yes, it's quite dull here, although I can see a bit of blue sky out of the window, but not a great deal. But there's definitely no sun. Well, on the upside, there's definitely no rain, so yay, win-win. Look at you, Sandy. Hi, Carol. Hi, Wendy. Okay, hi, Debbie. Hi, Bonnie. Still cool in Nottingham. Yeah. Nice colour choices. Yeah, well, actually, Sue, they are the same colour choices that I used on Monday, but I am going to do them slightly heavier, slightly different today, because as you remember, if I show you the one that I did on Monday, because I've still got it here, that was the one I did on Monday, and that is quite subtle, quite pale colours, considering these are the ones I've used. So that is quite pale, really. But today I'm going to do them a little bit heavier. I am going to use that one I've just shown you, but I'm going to chop it about a bit. So today's the one I'm using today. I am going to use on my card. Okay, so I am using the daisy corner, obviously, and the layering stencils. I'm just going to stand the layering stencils pack up there, and I'll leave this here because I'm going to use that in a little while. I'm also using 2 of the smaller dies from this set. I love this set. I think it's so versatile. You can do so much with it. But these are the two that I'm using today, the birthday and the hugs. Everything that I'm going to show you is in stock today, except the textures. So I just pop that up. This has got everything you need for today. So I'm going to leave that up there. Just go back to the chat. I'm going to leave that up there on the screen because that covers everything. That's the colours that I've used and everything product-wise that I'm using. So apart from the textures stamp set, everything else is in stock, okay, because I did check yesterday. I'm also using the postcard stamp. Now, I know you're not going to believe me, but I prepped this on Monday. After I'd finished my live on Monday, I prepped this one because I'd got other things that I needed to get stuck into. So I wanted that prep out of the way. And when I watched Claire a bit later on Tuesday and she used this and these, I thought, nobody's going to believe me that I had already planned on using these. But I promise I had. It was all done and dusted on Monday. So you're getting sort of similar vibes on today's card as you got with Claire's, but definitely very different. So I am using the postcards from the Edge, but I'm going to show you how I'm using it. It is slightly different to the way Claire used it on Tuesday. And I'm also using this set, the textures, and you know I love this set. I'm not sure if it's coming back. I'm not sure whether Lisa's with us or not. She did say she might watch, but I'm not sure if it's coming back. It might. I mean, it is really, really popular. And I'm going to use this one. And which other one did I decide on? This one. So again, I'm using similar to what Claire used. I know she didn't use the script one, but I'm using that and I'm using that. Okay. Just to be different. And I promise I'd planned it on Monday. I haven't copied what Claire did. Honestly, I haven't. Although it might look like it. So, as I said, we are using the same colours that I used on Monday, but it will look quite a lot different today because it's going to be quite a lot darker today. But I'm going to get the right brush. I think that's right. I am going quite a bit heavier today, but it's still going to look along similar lines because I want it all to tie in together. Okay. The texture stamps for me, Connie, are a must-have in your stash. I just think they're. I hate the phrase workhorse, but they are something that you will go back to time and time and time again. You really will. And they have infinite uses. So, you know, hopefully they might be back, but I can't promise. Hi, Lorraine. So I'm using the Woodland Moss to start with. And as I did on Monday, I am going to go in here with a little bit of the Loganberry and just brush into those leaves, just to give the leaves a slightly different colour. It doesn't need very much, just to add a little hint of colour into those leaves, just to make them look a teeny weeny bit different to the norm, if you like. I'm taking quite a bit of the ink off my brush before I go in so that I don't put too much. But I do like the subtle shading by using two different colours. So just put the lid back on that sack. Push that up there out of the way, and I'm going to come in with that tree bark. And again, the tree bark on Monday was really sort of a little bit insignificant, really, because it was really pale. You'll bring them back if you have enough requests. Well, there you go, people. You heard it from the horse's mouth. If you want a texture stamp set, you need to shout. And I understand that, because, you know, you can't just put in an order for half a dozen stamp sets it's got to be an order that's worth shipping and everything. So, you know, there needs to be quite a lot of requests for it, I would imagine, for it to come back. But it really is a fabulous set that you will just use and use and use. And it doesn't have to be the main part of your card, you know, just use it as interest in the background. It's brilliant. So you can see already the difference between what I did on Monday and what I'm doing today. Very, very different. I'll just leave that one there. Now I'm going to go in with my wonder brushes. I'll just put the lid on my tree bark. And I'm going to go in here with the antique pink to start with, and I shall go in and use the Loganberry a little bit later on. And again, I'm doing exactly the same as I did on Monday, in as much as I'm not going into the middle of these apertures on this base layer. Been stenciling the lily of the valley. Fancy you using Sweet Violet, Connie? I can't believe that. Anybody think you like purple? So again, as I say, I'm not going right into the middle of this aperture here. I am staying on the outside just to make it look a little bit different. You don't have to fill that base layer with colour. You can if you want, but you don't have to. But again, like I say, this one will look quite a lot different to the one that I did on Monday. So now we're going in here with the juicy pineapple. Just pop the lid on that and that. Move that out of the way. And again, we go in from the centre outwards. So I'm going quite heavy because obviously my colours are heavier today than they were on Monday. So this yellow needs to really stand out. I'm just going a tiny little bit in the middle there. And as I say, these are going to be quite a lot more vibrant than Monday's colours. So I'm coming in with, shall I do Loganberry? I think I will. I'm going to come in with the Loganberry, but I'm going to start off quite light, because although this is a darker image, I don't want this Loganberry to overpower everything else. Hi Lena from Denmark. Okay, so I'm going in here with the Loganberry, and I'm going to start on the outside, and I'm going to work my way in towards that yellow. So I'm going quite light to start with, because obviously I can always go in and add more colour, but once you've put your colour down, you can't really take it away, can you? So come in with that colour, and I want it to sort of meet that yellow. I don't want there to be a huge gap. And you'll notice that I've gone across the middle there ever so slightly, because there is an overlap of the petals. Okay, yeah, I like that. And again, as I say, you can see how different it looks to the one that I did on Monday, but I really wanted this one to be dark and stand out against the background that I'm doing on the card that I'm gonna put together. So we're going back to the woodland moss, and again I'm using my wonder brush because it gives me a really beautiful smooth finish, and it saves me a little bit of time because the colour it goes on a lot quicker. And again, I'm going to do exactly the same with that Loganberry, and I'm going to fill the edges of those leaves with some Loganberry, but I'm also going to just put a little bit of tree bark on this piece down here, because I feel that is sort of branch twiggy bits. Might not be, but that's the way I've looked at it. So everybody's card will be different. So I've come back in with that Loganberry. back into the edges of these leaves here, and I just think it lifts those leaves quite a lot. And I'm going quite heavy here, whereas on the first sort of set of leaves that I did, I wasn't this heavy. But I think now that I've put the colour down for the flowers, I can afford to go a little bit heavier on these leaves here. So I've just brushed that loganberry in there. I'm going over those little flower casings there as well. Yes, I like that. I think that's cool. So again, I'm going in here with the juicy pineapple, and again quite heavy because my colours are a lot heavier. And I want them to stand out. Oh, that was wrong colour. That was a really early set, Bonnie, that was. Okay, so that's that one. Then I'm coming in with the loganberry again and just putting those sort of seed heads in there. And again, I'm using the stencil brushes because they've got a smaller surface area and they're going to work their way through those little tiny apertures beautifully. Yeah, like this. Now, I think on the one that I did on Monday, because all my colours were pale, I did the veins on the leaves with antique pink because it's a sort of a really softer pink. But because these leaves are really quite dark, I'm going to go back in with the loganberry because the antique pink just won't stand out enough. So I think it's always nice to do your veins of your leaves a slightly different colour, even if you use something like a grey, or you could use something like garden sage, and I just think it makes them stand out a little bit more against the leaf. I like that. Are you happy with that? I'll just stack my inks out of the way, like so. Get my brushes out of the way. And over there. Right, so that's my corner daisy, and you can see they are very, very different, but exactly the same colours. Hi, Karen. Exactly the same colours, just totally different pressures that give you a totally different look. Okay, so I'll put that to one side. Move this out of the way because I want my other one, because I want to do some stamping. So I'm going to bring that one in there, and then we're going to take the die, we're going to cut this out and we're going to emboss it, just so that I can show you once again the lining up of the embossing folder with the image. So I'm going to place that down there, and again I line this up in exactly the same way that I line the embossing folder up. I find a point, line that up, and then move the die around until everything else is in the right place. Don't forget you've got sort of like a little sort of 2mm border all the way around, so don't try and line it up right against the leaf. Just leave that little bit of a gap. It will be obvious once you get your set and you work it out. I'm going to lift that off because it's not quite right. Need to go over a little bit. I think that's better. So I'm just going to run this through. I've got too much stuff on my desk. So I'll run that through and then I'm just going to emboss it. I wouldn't normally do the die cutting and the embossing on a live, but I wanted to today, so now put that in the embossing folder. And again, I'm going to line up this one piece down here and fiddle around with everything else until it all lines up. And I don't know whether you can see that, but for me, that is pretty much there where it should be. If it doesn't, if you've got little parts that don't quite, please don't worry about it, because nobody's going to see it. Nobody's going to just sit there looking at your embossing and go, oh, that bit don't fit and that bit don't fit. And if they do, don't make them another card. That's the way I look at it. But no, seriously, I've never had a problem lining things up. And if the paper slips and it's a little bit off, don't worry about it. Call it artistic license. I wanted it to look like that. Okay, so there's my die cut and embossed piece that we've done today. I like that. I really like those colours. So I'm going to put that to one side, and then I'm going to stamp out the postcard. Okay, so I've got a little piece here of a sort of a buff texture card. I think this is American Crafts, or I'm not sure Lisa's got this colour, but, and I'm going to pop that on there like so. Now remember, Claire said to you on Tuesday that you won't get a hard edge with this. You around the edge. It's an open edge, and you won't get a harsh line. But I am going to cut this out. I'm not going to use scissors, but I'll show you in a sec. So I'm going to pop that down there, and then I'm going to ink it up with the same ink that I've used today. I'm using the Loganberry, and I'm going to ink it up with the blending ink, which stamp beautifully. So don't just use them for your stencils. You can stamp with the blending inks, and they do look fabulous. I'm using my platform, my Ultimate one, just in case I need to stamp it twice. And just reach my roller, flip that over, oops, flip that over, and give it a good press down. Okay. It depends how deep you want this inking to be as to whether you do it more than once. Okay, so I'm going to lift that off. I am going to re-ink it, and I am going to ink it again. Don't forget, I'm stamping onto a texture card as well, so that's going to affect the stamped image. It's not going to look sort of crisp because I'm stamping onto a texture card, but because I'm stamping onto a texture card, I am going to stamp it again and hope it hasn't moved. I don't think it did. I'll just press that down like so, lift it up. I'm happier with that. It's a much deeper image, it's a much crisper image, even though it's on texture card. Okay, so I don't want it that shape, and I don't want to cut it because that's going to give me those hard lines. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a little bit of water, and I'm going to just, with a paintbrush, I'm going to draw with a water line down this texture card on both edges. Probably didn't leave myself enough room at the bottom, but we'll get over that. And I'm going to just go quite heavy with that water so that it's soaking through those. I'm going to leave the top bit so that it's soaking through those fibres. Okay, and what you're looking for is, because it's softening those fibres, you're going to be able to tear this card quite easily. I definitely didn't give myself enough room at the bottom, but hopefully it'll work. So if I move that out of the way, just give that a little bit of time for that water to soak through. If you can't see it on the back, just go over it again. What you're sort of really looking for is being able to see the water line on both sides. You can see it's starting to soak through here now, and that's exactly what you want, as that's going to make it easier for you to tear the card. Okay, so I'm going to start off. Now you can see here how easy this is going to be. If I just pull that card away like that, it tears really quite easily. I'm going to start it again up here. I'm tearing downwards with this piece. That's going to give me a jagged edge, but it's not going to leave me with a lot of sort of fluffy bits. Do you know what I mean? It's sort of like you won't get loads of big pieces that sort of look, it tears correctly, is what I'm trying to say. Now I'm going to struggle a little bit with this because it's right on the edge and didn't leave myself enough room on the card. Could have moved it down a bit, but it'll still look okay. You can tear this bit off in pieces because it'll still work. Okay, so then you've got a postcard that looks like it's been through the wars. Okay, can you see that? Can you see those edges? So it does look a little bit bashed about, but I like that look. I think that sort of gives it an aged look, and I really like that. So I'm just going to move these off here, these bits. Don't need these anymore. Chuck those in the bin. And then what I would do, I'm not going to do it with this piece because this is still wet, and I don't want to do it while it's wet. All I would do is take my ink pad and run the ink pad right around the edges. Okay, I can do it on the top bit because that's dry. So just run the ink pad around the edges and do all 4 edges. Okay, just to make it sort of stand out on your background. Okay, but I do have one that I've already done, as all good Blue Peter presenters would. So don't think I need my platform anymore, so let's move that out of the way, and I'll just bring my Lisa Horton Crafts mat in instead. So there's the postcard that I've already done. You can see that I've gone all the way around the edge with that loganberry. I've missed a little bit there. Just to make the edges stand out a little bit. Okay, and you can be as heavy-handed or as light-handed as you want. It just depends on the look that you want. Okay, so that's my card, that's my postcard that I'm going to use today, and I'll use the other one on another project. Now you can see here that I've gone across the background. This is loganberry, and I've gone across the background, and I've actually used one of my bijou brushes. I know Donna asked me on Monday, did I still use them? And I thought I'll use them on Thursday. So I've done most of it because it takes a little bit of time, but all I've done is quite literally just added some ink to my bijou brush, and then I'm just inking that background really, really lightly. There's hardly any ink on this brush at all, but what I want is a soft sort of coloured background that matches in with everything else, because I'm going to do some stamping on the top. And again, like I said, I promise I'm not copying Claire. I had already planned this, so I promise you, promise. Okay, that'll do, because it's just to take that stark whiteness off, really. I don't want it really, really white. I want a little bit of colour in the background. Now I'm going to leave that loganberry there, and then I'm going to take my, and again I'm doing it like Claire did, because this gives you the flexibility of not using the whole stamp. They will stick to your fingers, and you don't need to worry about them being, you don't have to use the whole stamp basically. And all I want is a little bit of interest in the background, just a tiny little bit. So I am using second generation ink, as Claire did, just to add some tiny little bits of interest in the background. But I'm also going to use the text stamp in exactly the same way. Now this is a little bit bigger, so again I'm not going to use the whole stamp. I'm going to do second generation, and I'm not doing it everywhere because I don't want it everywhere. It's just to provide a little bit of interest, that's all. and it's sort of a bit more vintagey, if you like. So that'll do for that. We'll move this out of the way because I don't want ink everywhere. So that's my base card, okay? And if I lift that up, you can see I've done it wrong now. I wanted it as a tent fold, but the text will have to be upside down. Nobody will notice. You won't see that much of it. So actually, I am just gonna add a little bit more up there. So my base card. So you can see I've inked the background with that Loganberry, and then I've second generation stamped with a couple of stamps again in the background just to provide a little bit of interest. This is a 7x7, so sorry. And it doesn't matter what size card you use, it depends what you want to put on it as to what size card you will use, really. Because this won't fit on a 6x6. Okay, so the 7x7 was perfect for this. If I did it on an 8x8, personally, I think it would look lost. So that's why I went for 7x7. Okay, so before I put that down, I am going to use the bits that I'd got left over on Monday when I cut my circles out for that triple easel card. Okay, and I'm still only using bits of this image on this card. So I'm just going to place these down where I think they'll look okay. And again, I'll be trimming off pieces, but I don't want to see the edges of the card. Okay, and then this one I am going to cut up. So I'm going to do this one in two parts. So if we do these first, we can put these down in those corners. And obviously you're sort of putting glue where you might not need it, but you don't know where you're going to place it till you put it down. So just go with the flow. So I'm going to pop that up there so that it hides the corner of that card and it just sits in the background like that. And again, I'm going to do the same with this piece, and then I'm going to cut the other piece as I do it. I'm going to cut these down, then I'm going to cut that other piece and do both corners again. So I'm going to pop that there, and all I want really is just a little bit of interest in the background. Okay, so if I snip those off, and I would snip them from the back because then you can see what you're doing. So you see, you don't always have to use your stenciled piece as is. You can do all sorts with it. So I've got my two pieces there, and then I'm going to use probably this piece and this piece here because I like these extended leaves here. So I'm going to put this piece here like so. So if we go there, put my glue on, and I can stick this down, cut it off, and then I can do the other corner. I had toyed with the idea of not actually doing the other corner, but I think it would look odd, so I am going to do it. So we'll go there. Okay, and then we can cut this off, pop this down, cut this down here, and then cut it across the bottom. And then we can do the other corner in exactly the same way. Okay, so we can go like so. So if I put my glue on the back, now nobody's ever going to know unless you tell them that it was the same as this one and you've cut it all down. So, you know, let them work it out, see if they can. So I'm going to pop that down there, and then we're going to cut that off. Probably didn't put any glue there. Okay, so I'll pop that down there, and then we can trim off the excess on the back. And then you've got your decoration on the back there. Okay, so you've already got quite a nice image appearing on the background. Okay, if you wanted to, you could add a couple more pieces on the sides, but I really don't think it needs it. You do run the risk of taking it a little bit too far, but it's totally up to you. If you want it to look fuller, then use the other little bits that you've got left over and just sort of add them randomly wherever you can or wherever you want. Okay, but I'm happy with leaving that like that. So then I've got my postcard. My postcard is going across the middle like that. Okay, I'm not going to 3D it because I'm going to put my pads on my flower rather than on the postcard. So I'm just going to glue this down and obviously I'm using Lisa's Fabulous glue. Don't use anything else these days because it's brilliant. And then I'm going to pop that at an angle, and I think it looks better at an angle rather than square on. It just gives the card a little bit more of an interesting look rather than doing everything square. Okay, and then we're going to pop this down here on top of that postcard. Okay, but I am going to put 3D pads. Obviously I couldn't do this in advance because I've only stenciled it today, so bear with while I just add these on. Won't take long. Don't need too many. Just want to support it in as many places as I can. I'm not worried about the tiny little bits on the end. Just want to support the main flower part. Okay, so just take these off. And then we can pop this flower down on the corner here. Now you see why I thought I wouldn't bother with this piece, because I was putting this in this corner. But I thought if I just do 3, it won't look balanced to me. So that's why I went with all 4 corners. So I'm going to try and place this so that it doesn't cover too much of this flower, but I want it to cover that sort of side of the postcard. Okay, so that's that bit there. And then, as I say, I've just used 2 of the smaller die cut sentiments from those scripted edges just to put on my card here. I was going to use the large birthday and just put hugs underneath, but I decided against it because personally I think the smaller ones work just as well, and they're just as pretty, so why not? So if I just put some glue on the back, I'm not going to lift this up because it's quite an intricate die cut, this word, and I think you'd struggle unless you used the 3D glue gel, but even then I think you would struggle to hide the gel, so maybe don't bother. And you can see I've gone with a burgundy card. Again, this is American Crafts, and I've gone with burgundy to match all my other colours. And when I've cut it twice, and I've backed it in a sort of a buff coloured texture card, because I thought black probably wouldn't stand out enough, because obviously the burgundy card is quite dark anyway. And I thought white would be a little bit too stark because we've taken a lot of the white off the base of the card, so it's not a white card, and I think it would have been too stark. So that's why I went with I think it's sort of like a warm grey, the card that I've backed it on. So there you go. Today's card. A little bit of interest in the background, and like I say, I planned it before Claire did hers. just so happens we've used similar techniques and similar product, but c'est la vie. And as I say, everything that I've used today is still in stock except the textures. If you want the textures, you need to beg. Go onto the website, find the textures stamp set, and click the notify me when back in stock little banner, because that's the way Lisa will know how many people want it. So if you really want the set, that's what you need to do. Okay, so that's today's card. So I hope you enjoyed that. I quite enjoyed doing that. And I'm really happy with those colours. I think they work really, really well together. So thank you all so much for joining me. I really do appreciate it. We've been a bit quicker today, so it's only 20 to 2, so only 40 minutes today. So you can all go off and have a nice cuppa now, because that's what I'm going to do. And I will see you back here on Monday. Don't forget, Lisa will be live on Friday. I'm sure she's got loads to tell us all after a fantastic trip to Frankfurt. I know she had a fabulous time. So yeah, I'm looking forward to Friday. So I will see you all round at Lisa's tomorrow night at 7 o'clock. So have a fabulous weekend, everybody. Take care of each other and yourselves, and I'll see you soon.